Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Michael Immecke, and you probably know me from previous videos or from a live training maybe even. I used to be part of the DIAL team who developed the software until 2019. Well, I'm still working as a trainer like I'm working as a lighting designer, and meanwhile I have even developed my own application called LuminAiRe. Try it out, don't forget about it. Well, let's focus now on what is our job. Let's look at the documentation, because that's the part that has changed most in DIALux Evo 9, DxE9. What before was just the documentation under one head has now been split into two different parts. Let's have a look at all of this. We will have to look onto the left side of the starting screen before diving into the documentation. The button is named Project and might be used right at the start. Numerous contacts with different roles can be set up. Those will be later part of the documentation. The list can be quite long. What is interesting is that in previous versions you had to save the persons. Now they're automatically saved, and an autofill function is active when you start filling out a field. I might feel more comfortable with it if I would know where that data is stored. In the main part of the screen I have the chance to insert a short and a long text to describe the project. Both can later become part of the output. There is the possibility to add a project image, but this seems to have no real function, as it is not a real part of the output. But now let's move over to the documentation. I assume that you all know how to prepare screenshots and how to do ray tracings. For the completeness of the project, I have added some exterior space and an office inside this house to make sure we can look at all important aspects for the documentation. As usual, it is good to get an overview. Where previous versions had 4 icons on the left bar, there are 2 icons left now, of which the second is only of help if you are looking for additional layouts which are part of a payable offer by the producer of the software. In second level, we have 3 tools only. Show me the complete documentation, which is a preview of what you're about to export as a PDF or what you're about to print. Once you've selected your choice of relevant pages, for instance, only the LuminAiRe positions, but not the photometric results, as you might need it for installation purpose, you can export that setup as an XML file. As such, you can import this like a template for later projects, or pass this definition of a template of relevant pages onwards to your colleagues as well. Let's look at the top. A. We have the configuration button. B. The definition of paper size, but not the orientation. C. The definition of the scaling on the computer screen, full height or full width. D. To save as, which is in fact the PDF export. E. Print on the connected printer. And finally F, on the very right, you find the option of different layout alternatives for several pages. This includes the option to change the orientation for single pages. And I think we have to walk through the different pages one by one to have a comprehensive explanation. To select and unselect the different pages, you have to start here. Edit. If you wonder what the search function can do for you, then imagine a large office building and you are asked about the detailed results in room 10212. You just insert 212 or 10212, and then you will see all the pages related to this specific room. On the top of the row you can activate the output for one, or if you have present, multiple light scenes. That was previously a part of the light scenes section. It is the flag which you can switch on or off to select or unselect certain pages or a group of pages. For instance, I might unselect all LuminAiRe specs sheets with one click. In our case, I will switch everything on. Be careful, even smaller projects like the current one may have hundreds of pages. Now we will look at the different pages one by one. They are always set up or modified with this button, Configure Page, or F2 if you prefer. On the very right, there's sometimes the option to choose from different layouts. These layouts can be aesthetically different, or they can rotate the paper to have a better fit for horizontal drawings. You remember that you could insert a descriptive text at an earlier stage? Well, here's the place where you will see it again. If there is a text, you will find it there automatically. The page can furthermore enhance by inserting one single image. That might be created inside the software, or you can load it into the software. It could be a photo, for example, from the site. Do you know how to achieve this? Well, go to File and look for Import. There's the button to get the image file. Let's have a second glance at the starting page. There are two more aspects of relevance. If you click on one of the images, you will be displayed the name, and just in case you inserted descriptive text while saving, it will be shown too. If you did not insert a description, you may like to do it now. This text will then be shown above and below the image, except for the cover page, where the image is displayed alone. The second aspect of relevance is the text you can insert. Above the text itself, there is the small icon of a clipboard, which you will find in other places too. There you can define that the current content or the current configuration will be used for future presentations as well. So it is very well suitable for your company's disclaimer, for example. The last thing to do is to define your preferred layout. Image and text in line, or image set on the left border of the page. Your choice. Then let's move to the next pages. There is the preface, which could be a text of your choice. You will recognize the clipboard again. More to the right, you can define the header and the footer, either for the entire documentation or for this page alone. To define it for future projects and for all pages, please use the clipboard. The glosser is a proposal from the makers of DxE9. They are professionals in the field of light, no doubt, and the glosser shows it. Decide for yourself if your clients need that help or not. A very intuitive overview of the content is next and will be generated automatically. The contacts that I mentioned earlier are printed on the next page. Here is a choice of two layouts available. Then there is the first time a page named description. That page gives the designer a little freedom to insert several drawings and ray tracings of his choice plus a text. You can insert numerous drawings, change their order, and remember, they can have written comments too. Two interesting remarks about this. The comment will not be displayed for the first page, but on all following ones. And a floor plan or an elevation will use an automatic scaling. As a consequence, it is not possible to define a certain scale, like 1/100 or 1/50. But you may switch between three different layouts, but there is none in landscape mode, which would allow you to have a more suitable scale for certain floor plans or side views. That is always done automatically. And no, you can also not change the font or the font size, neither here nor elsewhere in DxE9 free version. The LuminAiRe list or product list is available in two designs, one with images, the other without. Attention! Images are only available for luminaires in ULD format coming from a licensed manufacturer. The configuration of the page allows you to reveal more or less technical details about the products. For each product, there are also more detailed information available on individual pages. Each of those pages can be configured with much detail. Just have a look at the specification of a cone diagram, for example, luminous intensity graph, or UGR information. I bet when you have made the definition for one luminaire, you would like to use that for all other products too. Well, use that clipboard. Now we move on to the results of the work of the calculation. They are organized always in the same order. First exterior, then the buildings, then the stories, and then each room. Since this version of DxE, they are always shown in alphabetical order, not in the order in which they were made. If you created areas for the outdoor, you can find them as individual outputs. Each area, just like each room, will have a small choice of pages to select from. You can find the following types of output per each area. Summary, which is often identical for room and area, LuminAiRe layout plan, LuminAiRe list, and calculation objects like work planes, working surface, areas of activity. Most relevant might be the summary, as it is meant to give you a comprehensive overview. Let's have a look. On the right again, there is the choice to have either horizontal or vertical orientation of the page. Let me pronounce again, there is no choice to have a different scale like it was possible in the older versions of DxE. Nor you can change font or font size. Very important are the photometric and energetic results after the floor plan, plus, again, an overview of the products in use. If you start configuring the summary, you will see plenty of possibilities, which all have to do what you want to display and with what you do not want to display. In previous versions, you needed to make the CAD plan visible to have it displayed in the documentation before moving into the documentation to make it visible in there. Now, a simple flag will do the trick, and it will give you the possibility to set it up different for different rooms or areas. Very nice. Please review the options for yourself. In the middle field is the check button, which will make a fulfillment or non-fulfillment of a standard obvious. On the right side, there is the option to activate some standard information to be displayed on your page. Additional images are not an option here. The use of the LuminAiRe layout plan is rather self-explaining. 2 layout options available. There are numbers on each LuminAiRe that are found with their match in the product list. Unfortunately, there is no hint at where the LuminAiRes are pointing. You should consider to readjust the starting point of the LuminAiRe layout plan if it helps. This can be done in the construction mode by resetting the point 0 for each interior. Now we have the calculation objects. They are very much the same as the summary with a little less options though. This is even more true with work planes and work surfaces and areas of activity. They all have the same methodology with a reduced choice adapted to the intention of the calculation surface. For example, you will find UGR calculations also as one part of the calculation objects. They are visualized with target disks and lines pointing in the measured directions, plus the peak value for each measuring point written out. Well, now we're almost through with the documentation. DxE9 is using an entirely new engine to prepare the PDF, which is one reason why it is so much faster than ever before. Still, it may take several seconds or minutes to print or convert the documentation of a complex project. With a click on the PDF Maker, a new menu starts, opens up, and it will always be in English language. On the top is the definition of the pages that shall be converted. You know that behavior from many other programs. The settings are a little more complex. Let's figure out the individual meanings. Allow editable. Well, if you say no, the PDF is not easily modified by a third person, and if you say yes, the simplest PDF software can add comments and edit some of the content. Image compression method. We are all familiar with the JPEG compression method, which is a good balance between the data quantity and the image quality. Here you may also choose monochrome as an option. The options there are for different methods on how to transfer a colored image into a grayscale one. Now I must give in that I cannot clearly say what the use of image resolution mode is. The image resolution below is self-explaining again. Here is also the point where the data quantity can be much higher or lower with a little change. The same is true with the compression ratio named image quality. A very special need is PDF-A compliance, which is based on a standard to store data over a long time. In how far that is of relevance for lighting design, I cannot tell. It is probably a good decision to embed fonts used. Those used in DxE are rather standard, but just in case the recipient of the PDF does not have the same font you have, then you're on the safe side to include it. Otherwise, the page layout may become a bit chaotic and the recipient's screen. If you prefer to export rich text as image, then you're already a cautious person that wants to prevent people from copying the poetry in your project description. Usually you can mark and hence copy a text out of a PDF. If the text is converted to an image, it needs significantly more effort to return it into a text again. If you skip the PDF-A options, you may add a password to secure the PDF created. Have a look at the detailed options there. And a digital signature may be added, for example, if your calculations form part of an expertise. Finally, you're through with the project. Say OK, and you should have a PDF in a short while. Wow! That is the new documentation. I tried my best to make the explanations as comprehensive as it is possible in a video. I hope you enjoyed it and that it will help you. In case you need more input on DIALux or in lighting in general, do not hesitate to let me know. And if you want to thank me for it, then try out the LuminAiRe app and give me your feedback about it. My name is Michael Immecke, and I'm looking forward to hear or read from you. Bye bye.